Now that we have installed the lock chassis and both the inside and outside trim, we're ready to check our work. The first thing that I like to do is I'll check the inside lever. When I turn it, it pulls back the latch. I'm going to throw the deadbolt. I'm going to check the inside lever again, and now it pulls back both the deadbolt and the latch. Now the next thing I'm going to check is the dead latch mechanism. There's a small tongue underneath our latch. I'm going to push that in, and I'm going to check to make sure that it locks my latch. So when the door is closed, this is held in by the strike plate, and it allows the latch to lock so that somebody couldn't slip the latch with a credit card. Now that I've checked how the inside trim works, I'm going to check the outside trim. First thing I see is that by default the outside trim is locked. If I flip the little toggle on the edge of the door, it turns it into a passage set, and it allows me to enter freely from the outside. If I push the toggle in the opposite direction, it locks the outside lever like it should, and it's going to give me a chance to take my operating key and check the cylinder. I turn it and it pulls back the latch. If I throw the deadbolt and I turn the key, it'll pull back the deadbolt and it will pull back the latch so that we can operate it with the key. It's very important that we check the dead latch mechanism. There's a small tongue underneath the latch here, and when we push in on it, as it would be held in by the strike plate, it will actually lock the latch, protecting against somebody trying to open the door with a credit card. When we get ready to close the door, we're going to want to make sure that the latch engages properly into the strike plate and that the deadbolt throws properly. But before I close the door, I'd also like to discuss that there is a normal door gap that we should see all the way around the perimeter of the door. That is by industry standards considered to be 1/8 of an inch. 1/8 of an inch is approximately the thickness of a nickel. We need to be very aware of that because especially on fire doors, it is a requirement of building code that that gap be at 1/8 of an inch or less when the door is closed to prevent the effects of smoke and heat from going through that door. So that's another thing that we're going to check is the thickness of the door gap. So now I'm going to close the door, and I'm going to check and make sure that it is engaged into the latch, and it has. There's no rattle, and it closed and locked very easily. So just to check that again, it closes and latches and engages without having to push or pull on the door. So at this point, we have now had the opportunity to see the proper installation of the DORMA Architectural Hardware M9000 series lock.